The wagon wasn't a home, it was a coffin on wheels, 6 feet wide, 4 feet tall at the centre peak, 12 feet of wooden planking packed so tightly with everything a family owned that there was almost no room left for the family itself. No suspension, no cushion, no insulation against the cold or the heat or the rain that came sideways through the gap where the canvas didn't quite reach the sideboard. And for 5 to 6 months, sometimes longer, this was the only world a family had. A box, a moving box, aimed at a horizon 2,000 miles away that most of them had never seen and couldn't quite picture and chose to believe in anyway, because the alternative was staying, and staying felt like slow suffocation of a different kind. That's the thing nobody tells you about the Oregon Trail. We've spent 150 years turning it into myth, a grand American adventure, brave pioneers rolling west into golden sunsets, chasing a dream big enough to justify the suffering. The paintings show it that way, romanticized, luminous, noble. The history books soften it into something that sounds almost manageable in retrospect. And if you grew up in an American classroom in the 1980s or 1990s, the Oregon Trail was a computer game, a pixelated frontier where the greatest tragedy was a cheerful notification that you died of dysentery, and the whole class laughed, and then the bell rang, and you went to lunch. The people who actually made that journey didn't find it funny. Not even close. Between 1840 and 1870, somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 men, women and children loaded their entire lives into wagons, barely the size of a modern pickup truck bed, and set out to walk, not ride, walk, across the most punishing and varied landscape on the North American continent. They crossed the open prairie of Kansas and Nebraska when the grass was tall and the sky was enormous, and the distance between water sources began to stretch in ways that made experienced men go quiet and calculating. They crossed the alkali flats of present-day Wyoming and Idaho, where the water smelled of sulfur and turned the oxen sick, and the white crust of salt on the ground reflected the sun so hard it burned the inside of your eyelids. They climbed the Blue Mountains of Oregon and the Sierra Nevada of California in the narrow window before October snow turned a passable grade into an impassable wall, and they knew, everyone in every wagon train knew, what had happened to the people who hadn't